I'm Carole Edmond. I'm the Managing Director for Bright Horizons in the UK and Ireland.
Carole, can you tell us a little bit about where does action learning fit into your strategy for the business?
Action learning for me fits incredibly well because it's all about learning and becoming a learning organisation, and it's about us learning with and from each other so that we can tackle some of the problems that we've got in the business by turning them into questions and bringing groups of people together to help solve those problems.
On sort of practical level, how have you actually been introducing it to the organisation?
We've introduced it by starting with a senior team, because I think if it's important, we're going to introduce something across the organisation that the senior team are committed to it and they understand at a fundamental level how it's going to work. So a number of my team have been through action learning facilitation training, and that's given them a really fundamental grasp of what action learning is about. And so they've trained to become facilitators, and they've set up action learning sets that have tackled and worked on very important questions across the organisation. And from cohort 1, we've also developed cohort 2, so more people have come together to be trained as a facilitator. And now we're in the process of developing Action Learning Express, which will create the opportunity for us to be able to take it across the entire organisation and have people understand again at that fundamental level what action learning means, how we're implementing it across the organisation, and how it's not just about solving problems we've got in the business, creating opportunities, but it's about making sure that people can understand the questions that we need to ask and be curious and come together to work in really effective groups to deliver what it is we're hoping to achieve over the next few years.
So it relates to your organisational development strategy, I guess, as well.
Yes, it's a key part of us learning to learn, and I think if we're going to continue to grow and develop and the business is going to go from strength to strength, we've got to be able to learn and learn faster. And so action learning is a fundamental part of what we're trying to do from an organisational development point of view, as well as from a learning and development point of view.
What have been the challenges in getting this introduced into the business?
I think one of the challenges is when you introduce something new, if it's unfamiliar to people, there can be a little bit of resistance in terms of, is this another new initiative? Is this the flavour of the month? And we've tried hard to make sure that it doesn't feel like that. We've tried hard to involve people, we've tried hard to engage people on really practical issues that are important to them and affect their everyday work. And I think because we've really based it on that approach, people have been curious, they've wanted to get more involved, and they've realised that this is a way of working with their colleagues to come together in a really productive manner to solve problems and make some really great decisions about how we'll continue to move the organisation forward.
What sort of changes are you seeing in the people who are going through this process, and either as facilitators or contributing to action learning sets?
The key changes is people are becoming more confident about asking questions, about having really rich dialogue, about stimulating really good discussions about not just what the issues are themselves, but also how we're learning and how we reflect and how we use that reflection really productively to then take action and make progress going forward. And so for me it is about that building that confidence and that belief that this is a really great approach, and if we come together as a group and there's a like-mindedness about how we're implementing action learning, then that's really helping us sort of move forward. And people who were a little bit unsure to start with are now seeing the benefit of it and wanting to increasingly become part of action learning.